Hello and welcome. Today we begin a sacred journey, a walk along the way of the cross. This isn't just a story from the past. It's an invitation to walk beside Jesus, to feel what he felt and to see his love poured out for the world. Each station we'll reflect on represents a powerful moment on the path Jesus walked to the cross. But it's more than just his journey. It speaks to our journey too. Because at different times in life, we all carry crosses. We all fall. We all struggle. And in each of these moments, Jesus meets us. So, as we begin this journey, let's open our hearts. Let's walk slowly. Let's listen deeply. And may we come to know Jesus more personally, more powerfully, and more compassionately. Let's begin now at the first station. Jesus stands before Pilate, an innocent man, falsely accused. The crowd shouts for his death. And though Pilate knows the truth, he gives in to pressure and condemns Jesus to be crucified. Let's pause here. Have you ever been misunderstood, judged unfairly, betrayed by someone who knew the truth but didn't stand up for you? Jesus knows that pain. He didn't fight back. He didn't defend himself. He accepted the judgment, not because he deserved it, but because we did. He took our place. In this moment, Jesus shows us what true love looks like. Not love that waits to be treated fairly, but love that endures injustice for the sake of others. And he teaches us something powerful. That even when life feels unfair, even when people turn against us, God sees, God knows, and God will redeem. As we reflect on this first station, let's ask ourselves, how do I respond when I'm treated unfairly? Do I trust God with my pain? Am I willing to follow Jesus even when the path is hard? Let's walk with him. The sentence has been spoken. Jesus is led away. And now a heavy wooden cross is placed on his shoulders. He doesn't resist, he embraces it. He knows what lies ahead, the pain, the mocking, the struggle. But he also knows why he's doing it. For love, for us. Let's think about that. This wasn't just any cross. It was my cross. Your cross. It was the weight of our sins, our brokenness, our shame. And he carried it willingly. How many times do we try to escape the crosses in our own lives? The hard things God may be using to shape us? Whether it's a difficult season, a painful relationship, or even just the battle within, we often want to run away. But Jesus shows us that the way to resurrection is not around the cross, it's through it. And he doesn't just carry his cross, he walks with us as we carry ours. So today, let's be honest. What cross are you carrying right now? Maybe it's heavy. Maybe it feels unfair. But will you, like Jesus, say yes to God in the middle of it? He never asked us to carry it alone. Let's keep walking. The cross is heavy. The road is rough. And Jesus, though fully God, is also fully human. His body is already bruised from the beating, and now, under the crushing weight of the cross, he falls. He doesn't stay down, but he does fall. Let that sink in for a moment. Jesus, the Son of God, stumbles. And he doesn't hide it. He doesn't pretend to be stronger than he feels. He falls right in front of everyone, and then he gets back up. How often do we fall? Spiritually? Emotionally? Maybe we started strong, but somewhere along the way we got tired, we gave in, we messed up. And in those moments, shame whispers, "You're not enough." But Jesus says, "I've been there, and I got back up, so you can too." There is no fall too deep that his grace cannot lift us from. No failure too far that his love cannot reach. Maybe you've fallen recently. Maybe you're still lying there, discouraged and defeated. If so, hear this. It's not the end of your story. If Jesus could get back up, so can you, not in your own strength, but in his. Let's rise with him and keep going. In the midst of the chaos, the shouting crowd, the soldiers pushing him forward, Jesus sees her, Mary, his mother. Their eyes meet. No words are spoken, but in that look so much is said. A mother's deep sorrow, a son's unshakable love, pain beyond words, but also connection beyond understanding. Mary couldn't stop his suffering, but she was there. And sometimes presence means more than answers. Think about your own life. Have you ever had someone simply be there for you when you were hurting? Or maybe you were that person, standing silently by someone's side, not fixing it, just being there. That's what Mary did. She stayed close. She didn't turn away, even when her heart was breaking. In our moments of deepest struggle, God often sends us people to walk beside us. And sometimes He asks us to be that strength for someone else. Let's ask ourselves, do we let others see our pain like Jesus did? And are we willing to walk with others through theirs, even when we can't take it away? Because love doesn't always speak. Sometimes it just stays. Let's walk on together. Jesus is growing weaker. Every step is harder. The soldiers notice and they pull a man from the crowd, Simon of Cyrene, a stranger, forced to help. At first, Simon probably resisted. This wasn't his cross. He didn't plan to get involved. But as he walked beside Jesus, something changed. Step by step, he shared in the burden. He came close to the suffering and to the Savior. Sometimes we think carrying a cross is something we do alone. But even Jesus accepted help. And sometimes God calls us to help someone else carry theirs. Maybe it's listening when someone is hurting. Maybe it's providing for someone in need. Maybe it's just showing up even when it's inconvenient. Like Simon, we may not expect it, we may feel unprepared. But when we step in, we meet Jesus in the process. Let's reflect for a moment. Who is God calling you to walk beside today? Whose cross could you help carry, even if just for a while? And if you're the one struggling, remember, it's okay to let others help. Jesus did. Let's keep walking one step at a time. The road is brutal. Jesus is bleeding, sweating, stumbling. And in the crowd, a woman steps forward, Veronica. She doesn't say much, she doesn't preach, she simply takes a cloth and wipes his face. It may seem small, but it was an act of courage, an act of compassion. While others mocked or stayed silent, Veronica showed kindness, and Jesus received it. Tradition tells us that his image was left on her cloth, a lasting reminder that when we show love, no matter how small, it leaves an imprint of Christ. Have you ever felt helpless watching someone suffer? Wondered, what can I even do? Veronica reminds us, do something. Even a small act of mercy matters. A kind word, a prayer, a simple gesture of care. It may not change the situation, but it can change a heart. And Jesus notices. So today let's ask, what is my cloth? What can I offer, no matter how simple, to show the love of Christ to someone hurting? It matters more than we know. Let's walk on. Once again, Jesus falls. The weight hasn't lessened. The pain hasn't stopped. And though he's already fallen before, he stumbles again. This time, maybe the fall felt even heavier, the weakness more intense, the road more hopeless. But still, he gets back up. Have you ever felt that way? Like you just got back on your feet only to fall again? It's one thing to fail once, it's another to fall again. And again. Sometimes we think, I should be past this by now. I thought I'd be stronger. But Jesus shows us, falling doesn't disqualify us. It simply reminds us we're human. And it reminds us that grace isn't just for our first fall. It's for every fall after that too. Jesus got up again, not because he had to prove something, but because love kept him going. So, what about you? Have you fallen again? Have you lost hope in your own strength? Take courage. Jesus understands, and he invites you to rise again with him. This journey is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up in the power of God. Let's walk on. As Jesus walks through the crowded streets, burdened and beaten, a group of women begins to weep. They cry not just because of what they see, but because they feel the sorrow deep in their souls. And Jesus, even in his suffering, stops to speak to them. He says, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children." What a moment. Here is Jesus, exhausted, wounded, carrying the weight of the world, and he's still thinking about others. He sees their hearts, he sees what's coming, and even in pain, he speaks truth with compassion. This teaches us something powerful. Even in our hardest seasons, we can still have a heart for others. We can still speak life, still offer perspective, still love. Jesus also reminds us to look inward. Not just to feel sad about what's happening around us, but to reflect on what's happening within us. So today, let's ask, Am I letting the brokenness of the world bring me closer to God? Do I have eyes for the hurting, even when I'm hurting too? Let's not rush past the pain. Let's allow God to work through it. And let's walk on with hearts open. He's almost there, but Jesus falls again. This is the third time. His strength is nearly gone, the weight unbearable, the pain overwhelming. And still, he gets back up. Let that sink in. If anyone had a reason to stay down, it was Jesus. But he didn't. Because his mission wasn't finished, and his love for us was greater than the pain pressing him down. This third fall reminds us that perseverance isn't about never feeling weak. It's about continuing even when you feel like you can't. Maybe that's where you are today. You've been trying, you've been fighting, you've already fallen more than once, and now you're wondering if it's worth getting back up again. Friend, Jesus understands, and he shows us that God's strength often shows up when ours runs out. In our weakest moments, God whispers, "Keep going, I'm with you, I'll carry you if I have to." This fall wasn't failure, it was faith in motion, faith that refused to give up. So don't quit, don't give in, you are closer than you think. Let's rise again and keep walking. At the top of the hill, they stripped Jesus of his clothes. It's more than just fabric being taken, it's his dignity, his last bit of comfort, gone. The same crowd that once waved palm branches now watches him exposed and humiliated. Yet Jesus doesn't resist. He allows it. He surrenders completely, holding nothing back. Have you ever felt exposed, vulnerable, like life has stripped you down to nothing? Maybe you've lost something, your job, your health, your reputation, your peace, and you're standing there feeling bare, wondering where God is in all of it. Jesus knows that feeling. He's been there. And in that moment, he shows us the power of surrender. Sometimes God allows us to be stripped, not to shame us, but to free us, to remind us that our worth isn't in what we wear, what we do, or what others see. It's in who we are and whose we are. And when we give him everything, even the pain, even the shame, he clothes us in righteousness and restores our true identity. So today, if you're feeling vulnerable or exposed, remember, Jesus stood where you are, and he will clothe you with grace. Let's walk on clothed in his love. This is the moment. Jesus is laid down on the wood. Soldiers press his arms against the beam. And then, the nails. One through his right hand, one through his left, one through his feet. The sound of the hammer echoes. Pain explodes through his body. And still, he says nothing. He doesn't resist, he doesn't curse, he doesn't call down angels. He chooses to stay there. Why? Because of love, because of you. This is the cost of our salvation. Not just physical pain, but the weight of every sin, past, present, and future, nailed with him to that cross. And yet, in the middle of that agony, Jesus says, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." Forgiveness, while being crucified. What kind of love is that? Maybe today you're wrestling with pain, betrayal, something that feels unfair. Or maybe you're holding on to something you need to release, anger, bitterness, regret. Jesus shows us that forgiveness is not weakness, it's power, it's freedom, and it's what heals the world. So, as we look at the nails, let's ask, what needs to be nailed to the cross in our lives? What do we need to surrender? Who do we need to forgive? Let's lay it down and walk on. The sky grows dark, the earth trembles. Jesus, lifted high between heaven and earth, breathes heavily, wounded, bleeding, nearly silent. He speaks just a few final words. It is finished. And then he gives up his spirit. Jesus dies. The Son of God, the Lamb without blemish, crucified for the sins of the world, for your sins and mine. This moment changes everything. It's easy to rush past it, to look quickly toward the resurrection. But here, we stop. Because here, Jesus shows us the full depth of his love. He didn't just come to teach us, or heal us, or inspire us. He came to save us. And it cost him everything. This was the price of grace, the cost of our forgiveness. He bore it all so we could be free. So pause with me here. Look at the cross. Let the silence speak. Let the sacrifice settle deep into your heart. And ask yourself, am I living in a way that reflects this love? Do I truly grasp what he gave for me? Because when we understand the cross, We can't stay the same. Let's walk forward, humbled and grateful. The crowd begins to fade, the soldiers walk away, and now his body, lifeless, torn and bruised, is gently lowered from the cross into the arms of his mother. What a sorrowful scene. Mary, who once held Jesus as a baby, now holds him once again, but this time in grief. This is the moment of letting go. No more breath, no more movement, just silence. And yet, even here, love remains. Sometimes in life, we come to these moments too. Moments of loss, of grief, of holding on to something we can't fix, something we must release. Whether it's a dream, a relationship, or even someone we love, letting go is one of the hardest things we face. But Mary shows us how. She holds him close. She grieves honestly, and she trusts even in the dark that this is not the end. When life feels like it's fallen apart, when all seems lost, God is still near, still working, still holding us. So today, if you're carrying grief, know this: Jesus understands, Mary understands, and hope is not gone. The silence may be heavy, but Sunday is coming. Let's walk on, trusting even in the waiting. The body of Jesus is wrapped in linen and placed gently in a borrowed tomb. A stone is rolled in front of the entrance, and just like that, it's over, or so it seems. For his followers, this was the darkest moment. All their hopes buried with him, all their dreams sealed behind a stone. But what they couldn't see was that this tomb wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Because even in the silence, God was working. Even in the stillness, his power was moving. The tomb was not a place of defeat, it was a doorway to resurrection. Sometimes we find ourselves in those places too, moments where everything feels finished, where nothing makes sense, where we can't see what's next. But friend, don't lose hope. God does his deepest work in the dark. When things seem dead, he is preparing to bring new life. So today, if you feel like you're in a tomb, stuck, grieving, waiting, hold on, because Sunday is coming. Let's rest in hope. Let's believe in the promise. And let's keep walking in the direction of the empty tomb. We've walked this road, step by step, station by station. We've seen Jesus' pain, his courage, his love. But more than that, we've seen ourselves, our struggles, our falls, our hope. The way of the cross is not just his journey, it's ours too. And the good news is this: the cross wasn't the end. The grave couldn't hold him. And because of that, we are never without hope. So as we leave this journey, let's carry its truth with us. Let's live with deeper faith. Let's love with greater compassion. Let's walk with Jesus, not just to the cross, but through it into life. Thank you for walking this path with us.